Good morning. It's good to be here this morning. I'm going to do chapter 3 this morning of Malachi and take a look at a little bit more about what he says. So, in chapter 3, let's get started. Uh, Malachi chapter 3 actually talks about three main things that need to be discussed. Even though they have been talked about, the solutions are given to them. Okay, this is what God's going to do. The first is dealing with priests, and the Lord is coming to straighten things up, if you will, and to bring change that is internal, such as purification. Okay, judgment on sin, tithes, and offerings, and the distinction between the righteous and the wicked. Okay, and sometimes we need to be straightened up on that as well. And if you look at the world around us, you know what? It's pretty hard to say this is wasn't prophesied about, because it was, because people today are calling good bad, and bad good, and that's kind of a problem. That's a real problem. In fact, it was enough of a problem where the Lord said that he was going to be coming, and he was going to be judging all of this. So starting in Malachi chapter 1 or chapter 3 verse 1, it says, "See, I'm going to send a messenger, and he will clear the way before me. Then the Lord you seek will suddenly come to his temple, the messenger of the covenant you desire. See, he's coming, says the Lord of hosts. But who can endure the day of his coming? And who will be able to stand when he appears? For he will be like a refiner's fire and like cleansing lye. He will be like a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and refine them like gold and silver. Then they will present offerings to the Lord in righteousness, and the offerings of Judah and Jerusalem will please the Lord as the days of old and years gone by. I will come to you in judgment, and I will be ready to a ready witness against sorcerers and idolaters, against those who swear falsely, against those who oppress the widow and the fatherless, and cheat the wage of the earner, and against those who deny justice to the foreigner. Do not, okay, do not, they do not fear me, says the Lord of hosts. Look at John, actually, verse or chapter 5, verse 46, where it says this. For you believed, if you believe Moses, you should believe the me, because Moses wrote about me. Okay, so let's think about this for just a minute. Jesus was surrounded by the Pharisees, Sadducees, and scribes, and they were all accusing him of not being who he says he is. And you know what? He said this, and and what he said was, if you believe Moses, okay, if you believed Moses, you would believe me, because Moses wrote about me. Okay, and we find that actually the things that he wrote in the book of the law. Okay, but also if you look uh, at the fact that there had been a witness against them in their midst, under their noses, if you will, and it was what Jesus was talking about, standing right here, right there, right there. And you know what? There was another one, John the Baptist. So we're going to talk about that in the near future here. Look at Deuteronomy chapter 31, 26. It's a Deuteronomy 31, 26. Take this book of the law and place it beside the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, so that he may remain there as a witness against you. Now, take a look at this, because you know what? I've had a lot of people I've asked, where was the book of the law? And many of them say it was in the ark. And I said, no, it was not in the ark. Okay, it was outside of the ark, and it was leaning against the ark. And it clearly says it was a witness against them. Okay. And so there's another witness that took place, and it was what Moses wrote about. And that's exactly what Jesus was talking about. That Moses wrote about these things. Moses wrote about Jesus. And so when we look at that, it was Jesus that he was writing about. Look at Malachi chapter 3, starting in verse 6. It says, because I, Yahweh, have not changed, you descendants of your descendants of Jacob have not been destroyed. Since the days of your fathers, you have turned from my statutes. You have not kept them. Return to me, and I will return to you, says the Lord of hosts. But you ask, how can we return? Will a man rob God? Yes, yet you are robbing me. You ask, how do we rob you? By not making the payments of the tenth and the contributions. You're suffering under a curse, yet you, the whole nation, will still be robbing me. Bring the full tithe into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house. Test me in this way, says the Lord of hosts. See if I will not open the floodgates of heaven and pour out a blessing for you without measure. Look at chapter 3, verse 11 here and forward. It says, I will rebuke the devourer for you, so that it will not run the produce of your land, and your vine in your field will not fail to produce fruit, says the Lord of hosts. Then all the nations will consider you fortunate, for you will be a delightful land, says the Lord of hosts. Your words against me are harsh, says the Lord. Yet you ask, what have we spoken against you? You have said, it is useless to serve God. What have we gained by keeping the requirements and walking mournfully before the Lord of hosts? So now we consider the arrogant to the fortunate, not only to those who commit wickedness prosper, yet they even test God and escape. Wow. Listen to what's going on there. So let's look at some of this and kind of break it down just a little bit. In Malachi chapter 3, starting at verse 16, here's what it says. At that time, those who fear the Lord spoke to one another. The Lord took notice and listened. So a book of remembrance was written before him for those who fear Yahweh and had high regard for his name. They will be mine, says the Lord of hosts, a special possession on the day that I am preparing. I will have compassion on them, as a man has compassion for his sons and serves him. Starting in Mark chapter 3, verse 16, it says, you will again see the difference between the righteous and the wicked. Okay, listen to this. Between one who serves God and one who does not serve him. So really, to come up on Malachi chapter 3 is about this, the coming messenger. God promises to send a messenger, thought to be John the Baptist, to prepare the way. Okay, purification. The Lord will come to his temple like a refiner's fire, fuller's soap, purifying the sons of Levi, the priesthood, and other people to make them righteous. Fulfillment judgment of sin. God will be a swift witness against various sins, including sorcery, adultery, false swearing, and the oppression of the poor and widows and orphans, tithes and offerings. People are robbing God by not bringing in their tithes and offerings. Okay? The distinction between the righteous and the wicked. God makes a distinction between those who serve God and those who do not. What an amazing chapter as we go through this. No longer is it going to be about all of these things that we've made it about, because it's going to get real. That's what he's saying. It's going to get real. And you know what? There's judgment coming, and you're going to be judged justly. I'm going to show you the difference between righteous and wicked. How amazing is that? Listen, I hope that you have a great day and a blessed day. Go back over this and study this chapter and take a look at it and compare it with your own life. Have a great day. Blessings.